There we go. That's the sound I'm waiting for, that recording in process. Hey guys, sorry for the delay. We had a little bit of a hiccup with Zoom here. Didn't want to start, ended up having to leave and come back, but we got it working here. Let me pull up the chat. Uh, yeah, I was just chit-chatting here about how technology seems to be falling apart. The internet in particular lately. But hopefully we'll make it through. We've got a nice, short, sweet session for you all today. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. Let me share my screen. Make sure everyone can see that. Uh, throw me a line in the chat. Love to hear from you. Hear how you're all doing this wonderful Friday. Yeah. Let's see if we can pull this up. Looking good. Where'd the chat go? There it is. Finally here. Welcome, Gregory. Glad. Yeah, yeah. Nope, it wasn't your computer, guys. It's just been a nightmare. In fact, we're lucky to be here at all. I'm in Texas, and I don't know if any of you all heard this. Probably not. It's pretty low key news. But all of Texas for my ISP was internet was down since 5 a.m. this morning, and it came back, I think, around like 10 a.m. So luckily, they got it resolved fairly quickly. But I was like this close to canceling the session because I wasn't sure we were going to have internet. But even still, Zoom was giving me trouble. So I don't know what's going on. Happy to be here, one way or the other. Let's see. Okay. Love to see so many wonderful people here. Hello, Gail from Australia. Welcome, Ken. Welcome. Almond from Northumberland. That's awesome. Ali, welcome. Oh, so many familiar names and some new ones too. That's great. No snow yet in Sweden, Osa. That's I'm assuming that's a good thing. I don't know. I like snow sometimes, and sometimes I hate it. I'm the kind of guy where I like it for like a week. I like it right through Christmas, and then I'm okay if it melts after that that point. Okay, let's see here. Looking good. Okay, well, I'm gonna pull up some of my notes here real quick. Forgive me, I'm feeling a little bit frazzled today. But hang tight with me. We'll get this ball rolling and have a good time. Okay, well, we have a good amount of people registered, so I wanted to give everyone enough time to get in. But since we started a little late, I don't want to wait too long either. But while we are waiting for people to jump in here, and bearing in mind that we started a little late, I want to hear about you guys' challenges with distractions. Okay, so when you're writing your project, what would you say is your biggest distraction? What is holding you back the most from getting your writing done? And that can be anything. It could be like, oh, I just don't feel like writing. It could be like, oh, the freaking social media. It could be I'm tidying my desk. That's what I do a lot. I often am tidying my desk. Teenagers, laundry. I can feel you there. I got little kids, and so it's not teenagers, but it's the piling up of house chores to do. Yeah, that can get me. My cats. Oh, my cats. Great. Oh, ADHD for sure. Okay. Getting to my office. Okay. Family, work emergencies. Oh yeah. All this. There's just so many distractions. Yep. Two of my biggest distractions are fear of failure and success. Whoa, those are like two polar opposites. You're afraid to be successful and you're afraid to fail at the same time. Well, I would encourage you not to be afraid of failure. We all fail every day, frequently. I do myself, and that's how we learn, right? That's how we grow. That's something I've been trying to instill in my kids and even in myself still is that, hey, it is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to fail because that's how we learn. In fact, if we fail forward and we fail fast, then we can learn from those mistakes and make progress. Let's see here. Trying to organize my racing thoughts. Yeah, not sure where to begin and feeling the overwhelmed by the options. Stuart, I feel that all the time. Um, Sometimes, with that one, I just choose somewhere and start. And I always get out. I procrastinate perfectionist. I love to make everything perfect, right? And have everything ordered. And so I'm always asking myself, well, what's the best way to start? What's the best place to begin? And oftentimes you just kind of have to say, you know what? Doesn't matter where the best place to begin. It's better to just get the ball rolling, right? Okay, so Colleen says needing to use a necessary tool that is also my best distraction, my computer. Yep, yep, yep. Jumping on the computer. There are so many things to do on there sometimes that it's just easy to just be like, hey, I'm just gonna jump over to this website. I'm gonna do a little shopping here and listen to this music, you name it. It really helps to have a routine. And I've actually done previous webinars where I've talked a lot about that. But today we're gonna really focus on how Scrivener can help us avoid or prevent distractions while we're writing and really narrow in and focus on being a pantser. Nice one, Ray. I like that. I'm a plantser. Is what I call myself. I plant a little bit. I pants a little bit. I like both. And so, yeah, I know sometimes that can not being wanting to plan and not wanting to do those things can also be a challenge. Tracy says, yes, I need a routine. Would love to find out where your webinars are about this. I think Ruth, would you mind dropping in the link to the webinar library? And if you have them, if you can find that one I did about building a writing routine back, I want to say it was this time last year. We did, that was a really great one. It's one of my favorite webinars I've ever done. And so you can definitely check that out. Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate that. She just dropped that link in for you guys. Perfectionism, which keeps me from starting anything I can't do perfectly. Yep, yep. So don't worry about perfectionism, guys. It's better to start. It's better to just get that ball rolling and get going. Okay. Well, we are 10 minutes after the hour, so thank you for being patient with me, considering all the technological hurdles and then us just kind of getting into our groove here and getting started. Today is going to be a relatively short session. I'm only be covering a couple things today. So if you have questions, be thinking of them now, so that when we get to the end, you have lots of questions to ask me because we should have ample time at the end. I am going to try something a little different today, and you'll see in a minute what that is. So hang tight with me, and we will get the ball started. So here we go. Welcome, everyone, to our December 2025 Scrivener webinar series, brought to you by the creative minds behind Scrivener and Scapple, literature and latte. I'm Oliver Evanson, your host today, bringing you insights drawn from over 15 years of writing and Scrivener expertise. Now, whether you're a seasoned author or just starting out your writing adventure, our webinars are designed with your needs in mind. Now, today we'll be exploring how to find your focus with Scrivener and to ditch distractions. And remember, I do have a member of our dedicated technical support team standing by, ready to tackle any technical issues to answer your questions throughout the session. I have Ruth moderating today, so if you encounter any issues, please reach out to her in the Q&A. Now, for those of you who wish to revisit today's session or share it with your fellow writers, this webinar is being recorded. You can find the replay on my YouTube channel tomorrow and enjoy ad-free next week in the Literature and Latte webinar library. So links, we did provide some of those. We'll provide more of those links here shortly. Okay, well, here we go. Let's dive right in. Let's spend a few minutes just outlining the schedule for today's session. Pretty short and sweet, to the point. I'll provide a short introduction to who I am for those of you who don't who know me, and then we'll dive right into our training. Next, we'll move where I'll cover 3 tools that will help you stay focused. Or actually, yeah, I guess it is 3, but I've converged them into 2 slides. 2 to 3 tools, sorry, that will help you stay focused on your writing in Scrivener. And to wrap it up, I'll provide you all with a bunch of great resources you can utilize to deepen your understanding of Scrivener and improve your writing skills. I'll also leave plenty of time at the end for that Q&A. I've been really working on that and make sure you guys have lots of time to ask me questions. Okay, so a little bit about me real quick. I am Oliver Evanson, and for the last 15 years, I've dedicated my life to helping writers turn their creative ideas into finished stories. That journey led me to become the director of marketing and outreach for Literature and Latte, the creators of Scrivener. And every day I have the privilege of helping authors just like you build a writing process that gets results. Now, I love connecting with other like-minded writers. If you'd like to connect with me, please send me an email. My email is right here. Should pull up in just a second. Or better yet, you can join one of my email lists. I frequently send out valuable tips and techniques to help you become a better writer, and subscribers also receive a free copy of my starter novel template. Well, now that we're acquainted, let's dive right in today for today's session. Okay, so first up, hopefully some of you already know this is coming, but if you've ever struggled with focus while running, this feature is about to become your new best friend. Composition mode is the ultimate tool in Scrivener for creating a distraction-free writing environment, and arguably probably the most important tool we're going to be talking about today. When you activate it, you enter a full screen experience where everything else on your screen just disappears, just melts away, leaving you alone with your words. But what's really cool is that all of Scrivener's tools are still there hidden until you need them. So they're still available. They're just hidden away. I'll show you how that works in just a minute. So this mode is completely customizable. You can adjust the font, background, text settings to create a perfect writing space that inspires you. And we'll jump into it right now. Let's go ahead and dive right into composition mode and see how this amazing mode works. Okay. Desktop 1. Can everybody see that? Okay. So here we go. We're going to open up Scrivener here. And we're going to go dive right in to composition mode. Now, it doesn't matter which project we do. I'm assuming most of you already know how to set up a project. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up an example project I have, Whispers in Willowbrook here. And we'll use that as our example today. Let's make that bigger so everyone can see it. And let me see if I can get if my zoom is working. Oh, good. My zoom is working too. If we need to zoom in, that's how we'll do that. Okay. So you can see right away, we already have the default view that you would typically see when you open up Scrivener. So composition mode kind of takes this view and just kind of melts away all the unnecessary things we don't need to see, right, while we're writing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click the compose button right here in the top right corner of my screen. If that button is not there, fear not, I've got you covered. Go to help and search and type in composition mode. There it is right there. That's under view, enter composition mode. Now, before we do that, I'm going to try something else. I've also got my PC right here. This is a virtual PC. We're going to give this a whirl, see if this works. We're going to do it on the PC too. I'm going to open up Scrivener here. Looks a little bit different, right? But hey, oops, project's already open. Let's open a different project. Still using the trial here. This is because I just installed this on my Mac today, in case you're wondering. Okay, let's do Alice in Wonderland. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. And I just literally took the text from Alice in Wonderland and copied and pasted it into Scrivener in case you're wondering uh, where I got this from. So there we go. Same kind of idea. If I wanted to do it right here, top right corner, hopefully everyone can see that. Maybe I can still zoom in here. Ah, I can. There it is. It looks a little bit different, but the same idea. We can also go to help, click search menus, and this is where we would type in composition mode if we couldn't find it. Composition mode right there. It's under, once again, under view composition mode. So we go to view composition mode right there. Ah, and here we are in composition mode. Not sure why my. Now, bear in mind, the reason this could be a little glitchy because I'm not actually on the PC. I'm on a Mac here doing this on the PC. I tested this earlier and it was looking great. This should be white here. I don't know why it's black. Should be white. Let's try it again. No. Anyway, but it should be white. If you're on a PC and you're having that problem, the good news is you can make changes by going to File, Options here, going to Appearance. Hopefully you can see that right there. Appearance, and then going to Composition mode and then Colors. Why? How to use the default color? I don't know how that got changed. We're gonna just do white. For some reason, that got changed to black. I don't remember changing that, but we'll click Apply and click OK. Go back in. There we go. Yeah. So I'm not sure how I changed that. I don't recall changing it, but you can see we can actually adjust the background fit here. I'm just going to fade it all out, and we're left with this beautiful black, nice screen. That's for PC users there. We're going to switch back to our Mac here real quick. Okay. So here's the Mac. Okay. Back in the Mac view. Okay. I think I might try this where I just do it in the Mac and then do it over the PC. Let me know what makes the most sense because I don't want to do too much back and forth. But let's look at that again. We got composition mode here, top right corner. We can search it up here. We can go to view, enter composition mode. We can even learn the keyboard shortcut if we're so inclined to. Okay. We'll click that button right there. There we go. Now this is letting me know that typewriter scroll isn't enabled. You can ask it not to ask that again. I like to leave it on just so when I demo this for you guys, you can see it again. I'm going to click OK. I actually like typewriter scrolling. If you don't know what that is, give me a minute. We'll look at it. But as you can see right now, here it is. Just us and our words. That's it. That's all you need, right? You want to get rid of everything else. This is what you do. I love this. Now we can actually come down here, and this is where the full power of Scrivener comes in, but it's also a bit challenging on the Mac here because my dock keeps getting pulled up. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm actually going to move my dock. So one kind of annoying thing about having the dock on the bottom here with composition mode. You can change this. I'm going to go to my system settings. This is for Mac users, okay? We're going to go to dock, desktop and dock here. Maybe dock settings, yeah. And we are just going to move it from the bottom, either to the left or the right. I'm going to move it to the left. So you won't be able to see it, but it's over here on my left screen now. If I didn't have a second monitor here, it would show up here right here on my left. Okay. But now when I come here to the bottom, it doesn't pop up. Okay. And let's try that again. We're going to go to composition mode here. Oh, click OK. And sure enough, there we go. Yeah, that looks much better. This out of the way. Yep. So we can adjust text scale here. So typically, I like about 200%. So I usually zoom that in at about 200%. I can change the paper position anywhere I want it to be, like so. Okay. Right there in the center. I can make it wider all the way so it takes up the whole screen, or I can make it smaller so it's just like teeny tiny, almost like a phone in the center of your screen here. Whatever makes sense to you. I tend to like it somewhere right here in the middle, right about there. Yeah, I like that. It kind of feels like the original editor with my binders and my inspector here still. I know it's kind of silly, but that's what I've gotten used to writing, so I kind of like that blanks, that negative space there. And then if I want my inspector, guess what? I still got it. It's right there. I can even kind of put it over here. Maybe even if I wanted to make it so it kind of fits better, I could shorten it up like that. Okay. And if I want to navigate around, I can go here. I can go to anywhere I want in my binder. This is pretty cool. So let's go over here to Hazel Studio, and now it takes me here instead. Okay. So once again, go to Threads of the Heart series. I got my book one here, draft one. Could go to the Rhythm of Love, this Forever After All, right there, and start writing in that scene. Okay. So a lot of fun stuff we can do. We'll talk about focus mode in a minute. That's our next tool we're going to talk about. And then we have typewriter mode. This is where we toggle it on or off. And you may notice already what typewriter mode does is it centers our text in the screen. So if I were to write here with typewriter mode turned off, I'm having to look down at the bottom of my screen. So you really ergonomically, right? And ideally just for comfort, you'd like to be looking straight at your screen here. And so that's what typewriter mode does for us. It centers it up. So no matter where I'm either writing here at the top of my screen down, or once I've gotten to the middle of a document, it just stays there, right there in the center. It always leaves this negative space down here. That way I can just keep writing. You see how it pushes up? And it just keeps pushing it up. So you can turn that on or off, but personally, I like that on. I like to be able to see that and have that available to me. Let's see if, okay, we can access our keywords here too, if you want to have access to those. Put them there. The cool thing about our synopsis, I mean, about our inspectors, we can actually change things. We could actually pull up our keywords here, bookmarks, project bookmarks, custom metadata, uh, comments and footnotes, etc. It's all available, just like it was in the inspector. Okay. We'd even change our labels and to-do statuses here as well. You can easily turn this off just by clicking the button, turn it on, toggle it on or off, and we can fade our background in or out. Now, typically, I'll be honest, I almost never fade it in or out. I suppose what you could do is you could kind of position things off to the left here or something, or the right, and have something here you want to fade out and see every once in a while, if that makes sense to you. But personally, when I get into composition mode, I'm not thinking about research, not thinking about all those things. I kind of already have an idea of what I'm writing. I may want to pull up my inspector and just have my synopsis here. Right? So I can have that summary available just to kind of remember. But really, I just mostly just keep things off. And if I need them, I'll then go ahead and pull them up in composition mode. Now, if I want to, it's really easy to get out of this mode. I just hit the escape key and I'm out, just like that. And that's composition mode in a nutshell. Hopefully that answers everybody's, uh, uh, gives everyone a clear idea of what we're talking about here. But let me go ahead and look at the chat and see if I missed anything. Chat, where'd you go? Come on, chat. There you are. It's over here. Give me a second, guys. Just switch over here like that so I can see the chat. Should have popped it out. Lynn says, I'm toggling typewriter mode, but nothing seems to be changing. It's not centering. Lynn, are you on a Mac or a PC? Let us know. I mean, we might have to have you email us on that one. You're on a PC. Let me try it on PC, see if I run into a similar issue as you. So here we are on the PC now, right? Let's just do it here. Now I'm going to move this down here. Let's kind of open these up a little bit too. And let's go to composition mode. Okay, so I have it turned off. Let's zoom in. Oops. Paper position. Oops, there we go. Let's make the paper width a little bit bigger and let's zoom into 200%. There we have there. Okay, and I'm actually, this is a pretty small amount of text, so I'm going to copy things up like that. So right now I have typewriter scrolling turned off. When it's off, it'll not be filled in. When it's on, it will be filled in. And there we go. Yeah, it seems to be working for me here. Uh, so if you're having issues with that, I'd recommend you check that out and see what we can do. Yeah, send us an email. I'll get you an email at the end. You can send that to, and we can maybe look at that directly and see if there's something going on there that shouldn't be. But yes, it should just toggle on just like that. Just by make sure that that is filled in, and make sure you have enough text. So you may have noticed when I didn't have enough text here. Let's undo some of this. There we go. Give me a second. Come on, undo, 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 undo. There we go. Okay. So undid all that. When I don't have enough text in here, let's make it back to 200%. I guess it still does kind of pull it up. Yeah. So nothing might happen initially, but when I get far enough down, it should center that up for me. Okay. Good question though. Uh, Worked in Windows 11, working fine. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm sorry you're having trouble with that. Be sure to send us some screenshots and an email, and we'll take a look and see what's going on there. But yeah, we got typewriter mode turned on. Same thing here. We still got all our inspector go to. We actually have styles here. I don't think I had that on the Mac version there. Didn't see that there, but there we go. Styles are there. Kind of nice. Keywords are there, background. Oh, one thing I neglected to mention on the Mac is that we can see our word count here, right here in the center. We can include footnotes and comments and footnotes if we wish, but it gives us, if we click it, we can also get some more information about this specific document we're examining in composition mode. Okay. Let's escape out of that real quick. Let's see if we can go into, oops, I think I pushed the wrong button. Copilot. Ah, I want Copilot. I used a Mac shortcut. It's Control 1. Let's see, edit view, Control 1. If we go into composition mode while in Scrivening's view, let's see what that looks like. Yes. So if you have multiple documents selected, like a folder or even your entire manuscript, you can pull that up in Scrivening's view, and you can see the dashed lines are there to tell us the different sections that we're jumping around to. Okay. So that's kind of a cool thing. Let's try the whole manuscript. I'll click Alice in Wonderland, the entire manuscript here. We'll enter in composition mode while in Scrivening's view. Oh, there we go. Yep. We've got the whole thing, all 24,168 words from start to finish, all the way down here. Oh, all those lovely images, the text. Fun. So there you go. That is how that works if you want to use composition mode while viewing multiple documents, or even if you want to, your entire manuscript. That's the PC. Escape, and that's how we get out. There you go. So that's composition mode in a nutshell. I highly encourage you to use it if you just want to kind of blank everything out and forget about everything else. Okay. So perfect. Okay. So let's move back over to the Mac here. Close this out real quick. There we go. I think we'll switch back to the presentation here and dive into the last tool we'll be talking about. It's kind of two tools I merged together in one. And this is, here we go, focus mode, okay? Or focus modes, as the case may be. We're going to look at a couple different focus modes. Now, some of these are only available on the Mac, but there's one that is available on the PC, and we do hope to bring in more over time. So let's look at these real quick. Okay, first off, on the macOS, we have the line, sentence, and paragraph focus. We also have dialogue, nouns and pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. And currently, right now, only on PC, we have dialogue focus. I do want to also show you how to highlight the current line. If any of you are wondering how I got this line highlighted, I'll show you how that works. If you see that right there, how I got that line highlighted, I'll show you how that line highlight works. But essentially, that's what we currently have available for Mac and what we currently have available for Windows. Hopefully, we'll see those features rolled out here in the future updates of Scrivener. But let's go ahead and switch back over. to our desktop one here. As you can see, everywhere I put my cursor, that's the highlight line. Maybe I'll show that one first real quick since that's applicable to everyone. We'll go to Scrivener, Settings, and I will do this on the PC, so PC users just hang tight. We're going to go to, I think it's Appearance. Yes. We're going to go to Main Editor, and we're going to click this box right here, Highlight Current Line. Okay, so I turn it off. It disappears. I turn it on. It reappears. I can also adjust the color of this if I want to over here. Now for the current line highlight, there it is right there. And I believe for composition mode, we can also adjust that. You can see I have a slightly different color in composition mode. It's a little bit darker. And if you ever want to get back to your default, just click this use default color here. I'm going to leave it alone though. And that's how we would turn on that highlight light that we see. You've been seeing me. I love this. I always have it on. I always know where I am. It's like my cursor, but longer, right? I can see exactly where I'm at, and my cursor blinks and know precisely where my cursor is, where my mouse is, where I'm typing. So I really like that. That's a way to focus in on it. Now let's look at that for PC users real quick. Okay, we're going to go to File, Options, right here. And from here, we are typically opens up to General, but we're going to click Appearance again. And we're going to find Main Editor right there. And there's the highlight the current line right there. Okay. Now, a little bit different from Mac is that we do need to click Apply and OK. I'm going to turn this back on, Apply, OK. And there it is. You can see my line is now highlighted where I'm at. Let's zoom in here a little bit so we can see that a little bit better. 200%. There we go. Yep. And then we can nicely see that line highlighted. So it's really easy to tell exactly where I am. Now let's go to our options again. File options. If I wanted to adjust the color, where would I go? Looks like we don't have the option to adjust color here. Let's see if we can do it for composition mode. Oh yeah. So we also for composition mode on PC, we need to turn it on here too. I might check out the Mac. I may have missed that on the Mac too. And we can adjust colors here. See if it'll let us change the color for the current highlight. So it looks like we can't change the color here for the highlight, unfortunately, on the PC yet. But let's click Apply, click OK, and let's go to our composition mode and see if we can see that. Scroll. Oh, sure enough, there it is. Okay, so it is there, and we can turn it on. Can't quite change that color yet here, but it is possible at least to get that turned on for both your composition mode and for the main editor. Let's exit out of that real quick. Switch back over here. Curious under options. Okay, yep. Even for Mac users, be aware if you want this turned on in composition mode too, you do have to come and check this box right there. I missed that. So watch out for that. If you want the highlight current line for main editor and for composition mode, that is once again Scrivener, settings. We go to appearance and we click the modes we wanted on composition mode. And what do you call it? Main editor right there. Another thing it looks like, you can also make inspector use the dark appearance. The inspector, let's try that. I'm going to turn that on. I haven't messed with that before. Let's see what that looks like. Composition mode. Click OK. Turn the inspector on. Huh. It didn't do anything yet. So sometimes you try things out, it doesn't quite work. I'll have to write that one down because that should have changed that to dark mode. I might need to just we want to know so we can fix it. Okay. Sometimes it's an issue on our own computer. Sometimes it's a bug in Scrivener itself. Doesn't matter where it is. The whole goal here, we want to make Scrivener work for everyone. Let's see here. Mackenzie, that's a great question. Would you add that to the Q&A and I'll take a look at that at the end and we'll see what we can do. We can look at that. Okay, perfect. So that is the highlight the current line. Let's talk about focus modes now. Now I'm going to actually start with the PC since there's a lot less to cover on the PC here. We're going to go to Help. We're going to search menus, and I'm actually going to search this time Dialog Focus. Okay, and actually this is a really bad project to do this on because the dialogue is all, I don't think it's marked. But we go to Edit, Writing Tools, Dialog Focus. Now this is quite different from where it's located on the Mac version right now. We had to change things up because writing tools was commandeered by macOS for their ChatGPT crap. So it's called reference tools now. And I actually think we actually moved it into spelling and grammar. But for PC users, we're going to find it right here under edit, writing tools, and it's going to be right there, dialogue focus. If I turn that on, I don't think we have any direct speech here. Yeah. Let me get a different project open so we can see this a bit better. I'm going to actually close out Whispers in Willowbrook. I have to make a different copy of that project or something. Let's open up Scrivener. It's going to reopen that one. Let's go to File, Recent Projects, Whispers in Willowbrook. There we go. And let's turn it on here. Let's go to Help. I'm just going to search it. Dialogue. You'd be surprised how often I use this, even though I would consider myself a power user. Dialogue focus. There we go. Direct speech. And we can then fade that out. See, now we've just focused in on just the dialogue. And we could go through that and just read the dialogue and see how it reads. We don't have to go quite that far. We could make it so it's still a little bit visible, right? So we can still kind of see it there, but we can see everywhere that dialogue is. And this is a great way to focus in, clean up, work on your dialogue, see how it sounds without all the summary text all around it, all that exposition, right? So right now, that's we can see we have 36 quotes. It tells you how many are there. You can click this button if you made changes. You can click this button; it'll rerun it for you, clean it up, make it work. Of course, turn it off and have none. You can exit that box to close it up and clear it up. So that is dialogue focus on the PC. Now, like I said, there are a few more options for focusing on the Mac, and we do hope to bring these features over to the PC. We appreciate your patience as it's challenging, more challenging than you think to get feature parity, to get things working on both versions, but we are committed to provide you the best possible version of Scrivener on both Mac and PC. And so thank you for your patience while we work on that. Okay, let's dive back into Scrivener here. Actually, I'm going to close this out because we want to be able to edit it on our other computer here. Let's open it up here. Not that one. Whispers in Willowbrook. Make that bigger. There it goes. And so similar, we're going to, instead of looking for dialogue focus, we're going to look for linguistic focus. Okay. And that's where we're going to find it. We're going to find it under edit, spelling and grammar, linguistic focus. Okay. And it was originally under writing tools, but as you can see there, Apple took over writing tools and made their own little suite of writing tools for ChatGPT stuff. So we moved that down into linguistic focus into spelling and grammar. We also have our old reference tools, a lot of the old ones that used to make up that toolbar under reference tools now. Okay, so just a little bit different there. So we're going to go ahead and click linguistic focus here. You can see we do have quite a few more options here. We have our direct speech, which is our dialogue, just like we saw on the PC. Okay. But we also can single out nouns on the Mac. We can single out pronouns. We can single out verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. Now, particularly if you follow what is Stephen King's advice, you probably want to go to your adverbs and see how many adverbs do I have and do I want to get rid of them. I honestly don't think adverbs are as evil as he makes them out to be, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't go through and say, hey, I've used an adverb here. Is there a better way to write this prose, right? I think it just gets you to asking questions and think about how can you write this better. So this is pretty cool that you can kind of fade these out and see what they are. You can see how many adverbs you have, right? You can fade it all together so you can just see the adverbs. Personally, I never do it quite that much. I like to see the text just enough that I can kind of see where I'm using those things. And yeah, I think it's a really great way to really narrow in and focus on really specific things. Now, to be fair, the only one I have really used a lot is the direct speech and probably the adverbs. So PC users don't feel too bad, but obviously they're all great. So I've never used prepositions or conjunctions other than the demo, but everyone's different. So you do what works for you. Okay. But that is linguistic focus and dialogue focus. There's one more focus that kind of brings it all together. Unfortunately, this one is only Mac OS at the moment. We can come here up the top right corner. Usually the focus button is there. If it's not, you can search it and search in focus. You can see there it is under text editing, focus. We can focus on, we can focus on the line, the sentence, or the paragraph. It's much easier to do here in your toolbar. We can come here to focus line. Okay, so wherever I put my line, now because I have the current highlight line on it, I feel like it pops it even more than if I didn't have it. So I like that personally. See if I didn't, if you select something, it kind of disappears. That's what it would typically look like. So I really like this highlight turned on with this. And typically, I'm really just focusing on the line. You could do a sentence. And generally, if I have focus on, I like a paragraph. I like to focus on the full paragraph so I know I can kind of see that I'm working in a paragraph. I'm really working on just a line or sentence level. I'm typically working on a paragraph level. But once again, the choice is yours. You can make the decision. And it's a pretty neat little feature. When you scroll, it does disappear, but it comes right back as soon as you click into uh, into your editor here, just like that. Okay, guys. Well, that is it. That is focus modes. That is linguistic focus, dialogue focus. That's composition mode. These are built-in tools in Scrivener that can help you eliminate those distractions and really focus on what matters most, your writing. And honestly, even the focus modes, those are really cool. If you just had composition mode, that would be more than enough, in my opinion, to really focus in and get your writing done. One thing I guess I'll show you real quick. Focus mode is available on in the composition mode for Mac users here. You can turn it on right here and we can focus that sentence. We can focus that paragraph and really dig in. So if you really want that to combine all those features together, Mac users currently can do this. Unfortunately, PC users cannot yet, but hang with us. We'll get there. Always improving, always trying to make this a better app for you guys. Okay. Well, there we go. Let me close that up there. And I'm going to switch over to the presentation. We'll get this party rolling. So, of course, I have some excellent free resources for you guys. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything you need help with, we have tons of great resources. We have our webinar library, we have our user forum, user manuals, blog and video tutorials. If you'd like to get access to my starter novel template, be sure to click that link or go to that link, ojevanson.com/links or ojevanson.com/newsletter. I have tons of great tools, advice, and tips for you to get you where you need to go. One way or the other, we're going to get you started, we're going to get you rolling, and get you writing your book. Oh, yeah, and there's the QR code if you want to use that to subscribe to my Substack. So that's it, guys. Let's open the floor for some questions. If you have any questions, I'll take a look at those, see if I can help you out. Since I have the PC available here, hopefully we can address some PC related issues too, if there are, and we can look into those. And of course, these are the email addresses you're going to want to reach out to if you have any questions we can't either fully get to, or if it needs more information, reach out to us there at Scrivener/Mac, Scrivener/Win, Scrivener/Mobile, and scapel@literatureandlatte.com. Let's see what we got here in the Q&A. Maybe if I can pull it up here. Q&A. There we go. Boom, boom. Okay. So McKinsey's asking, I know Mac users have the ability to save and change Scrivener themes fairly easily. Is that a feature that has come or will be coming to Windows? Let's see here. So I'm going to share my screen again. So I have not, to be fair, guys, I have not really used themes on Mac or PC that often. I just typically stick with the default theme. Maybe that's lame. But I've never felt like, other than maybe like switching to dark mode. I used to switch to dark mode a lot when that was first introduced, but I don't anymore because I would do webinars and I'd be in dark mode, and believe it or not, people couldn't see. And so I just got tired of switching back and forth. So I just stopped. I just use the plain old light mode now. Anyway, but let's look and see what the features are on Mac and PC as it relates to our modes, our themes here. So we can go to Scrivener theme. We can import themes, it looks like. There's the default. We can switch these over relatively easily. Click OK. Oh, and it does change it relatively quickly. I think you have to close out on the PC, but we'll look at that in just a second. There's the purple haze. Okay. Purple, and tangerine. Let's do tangerine. Ooh, that looks fun. And if I want to get back to the default, I can just click default. I want to say if we go to settings here, we can manage themes. Yeah, we can load themes, we can save themes, we can delete themes if we so wish to. And the themes are typically created by adjusting our appearances right here in the appearance section of Scrivener. So you could adjust a bunch of things and then save that as a theme and ideally import that and export that out and put it on a different version of Scrivener on a different Mac or a different PC, right? So that's currently how that works on the Mac. Of course, we also just have the default system default light and dark modes available as well, which you can switch back and forth from. Do system default. Yeah. Okay, let's switch over to Mac. I'm sorry, to PC here. Here's Scrivener again. Okay, we got Alice in Wonderland still pulled up. Let's look at themes and what we're looking at here. It's a little bit different here. Import. I want to say themes are over here. There they are, right there. So this is where we find themes in a PC. So this is quite a bit different. So bear in mind, it's not in the file menu. It is over under Window and it is under themes, and we can switch it over. Now, unlike the Mac where it'll just switch automatically, we do have to close it out. So let's close it out and reopen it. See what that looks like. Takes a little bit longer. Oh, there we go. Looking good. Okay. So there's that. Okay. We could also go to help. No, to window themes. We could do gray matter dark, gray matter light. Let's do gray matter light. Let's see what that looks like. Close that out. Reopen it. Okay. Yeah. So it makes it just a little bit darker. Yeah. So there we go. So you can mess around with those, and you see it looks pretty similar in the way we can load themes from a file. We can save themes to a file. We can import themes. We can even reveal the imported themes folder and find where that's at. It does come with a number of themes already built into it, which is great. Most of those, it looks like, were also available on the Mac. So I haven't tried creating a theme on the Mac and then bringing it over to the PC, but I don't see why you couldn't. You could certainly try it. There might be some things that don't come over, and there might be some issues with that, but it's worth giving a try. Um, if we want to make changes to our themes, what we do? We go to File, Options, Appearance again, and we would make changes here to all the settings. Anything we want to change to make it to make a theme out of, right? And then we would come here and we would save theme. We could let's see, load options, save theme options to file. Yeah, theme, is that the same thing? Looks like we got two things here, but let's click it. I'm curious. Let's click it. Just to a file, so we could, yeah, it would just gives us our options. I think that what that does is it saves both options and themes, so theme and options together, whereas this one's just going to save appearance settings. So we could save that theme to a file, and then we could then share that with a different version of Scrivener. We could import that here or via the window up there. So hopefully that answers your questions. Make sure you click apply when you do that. You want so it does actually get applied. And let's switch back. I'm going to go to our window themes. I'm just going to go back to default. Click OK. But you can mess around with that. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do there, I'm sure. Let's go ahead and close that out. Open that back up. And we are back to our default view. Yeah, so if you're the kind of person that likes to tinker with those kind of things, the option is there. Mess around with it, give it a try. I just typically find that if I spend too much time doing that, I procrastinate doing what I actually should be doing, writing, right? But do you, whatever makes sense, whatever works for you. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Mackenzie, and get you where you need to go. Oh, glad. So I'm glad. I'm glad we were able to clear that up for you, Mackenzie. I'm happy to hear that. Sometimes they're there, on a lot of, like I said, PC and Mac they're actually closer than you think. There are a few features that are available on the PC that aren't available on the Mac and vice versa. But we've done a really good job of getting feature parity where most of the features are there, with some few exceptions. So yeah, a big one like that, I'm not surprised it's there. It's just been a while since I've messed with it. Okay. Let's see here. Silly's asking, have you done a webinar on writing series of novels? Yes, I have. I have done a webinar on writing series of novels. If you go to the webinar library at literatureandlatte.com/library, you should be able to find I find it. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was like I think it was just called like writing series in Scrivener. I'm sure if you did like a little find, actually, why don't we do it real quick? I have it. I have it here. We can just pull it up and see if we can find that for you real quick. So let's go here. Let's go to Safari and yeah, let's pull that up. We're gonna go to literatureandlatte.com/library. Library. If I can pronounce it correctly. I'm gonna search series. There it is. Unlock series potential, authoring multiple books in Scrivener. That was December 11th, 2024. So about this time last year, I was giving a presentation on series. So great question. Yes, it is possible, and the webinar on it is right there. December 11th, 2024. Unlock series potential. So check that out. That'll be a good one to watch again. So someone's asking Kevin, how do I convert single quote speech quotes to double speech quotes on the Mac version? Okay, well, let's look at that. Oops, sorry guys, wrong way. There we go. So I'm assuming something like this. You had like that, right? Oh, you want to switch these over to double quotes. Well, probably the easiest way would just be to do a find and replace and just put in your uh, single quote. The only problem with that is you're going to get these guys right here. So you might want to come in here and do find and do, yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky to do that, but how many of these do we have? I use a lot of contractions. So yeah, that one's going to be a bit challenging because we can't just find and replace it like this. Because if we do, we're going to end up with a lot of quotes in the wrong places that they shouldn't be. Starts with ignore. Okay, yeah. I think if we do starts with, let's see here. Yes. You see that? Okay. So we switched to starts with, and now it's just grabbing it at the beginning or the end of our thing, and then we could then come and replace those. Oh, there we go. I did it. Ha! So now we've replaced all those. And so anywhere there was one like that. Now, one thing you see there, they're straight quotes. They're not smart quotes. If we wanted to then switch those over to smart quotes, we'd search smart quotes and we go to convert quotes to smart quotes. Hit that, and now all my quotes, well, I had one selected. Let's do that again. There we go. Now all the quotes will be switched over to smart quotes instead of the straight quotes. So that's how you would do that. You might want to back up your project before you do that in case you accidentally change these contractions to those two, in which case that can be a little tricky to undo. So just bear that in mind, but that's how you would do that. Great question. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Catherine's asking, didn't you do a format tutorial in Windows? It's been so long. Um, I haven't done a Windows presentation in a while. In fact, this is the first one I've done in a while because I've had a hard time hooking up my PC to all my equipment for webinars. But I probably did. I would just encourage you to go and look through the webinar library. Typically, if it's done on a PC, I notate it as such. I say this is done on a PC. This is a presentation for PC users. So watch that for that there. So look for that in the webinar library. Hopefully you can find it. Maybe, oh, let me just swing over there and see if I can. I had it here somewhere. Where did it go? Right there. Let's search up formatting. Format, essential tools. Okay, no, I don't think that was it. That was with Vellum. This one was done in 9 outstanding tools for formatting your novel in 2023. That one I might have had something there. 2022. I'm not seeing anything for Windows there. Let's see. Search Windows. Fundamentals. You might look at this one, learn the fundamentals of Scrivener 3 for Windows. It's a good one. And Scrivener for Beginners, the supremely quick guide to Scrivener for Windows, Scrivener 3 for Windows. So you might check those two out. There might be some formatting mentioned in those ones. PCs, sometimes I use PC instead. There's PC there, but maybe the 5 tools of Scrivener's main editor on PC. Yeah. So it's about 6 or 7 presentations there. You can look through to see if one fits the bill for you. Oh, good question. So Catherine's asking, can you write in a window and then in Windows and then move to iPad and go? Yes, you most certainly can. In fact, you would just save your project in Dropbox. In fact, I do that all the time. If I had my iPad on me, I don't have it right next to me, but I have all my whatchamacallits. So if I go, I have all my projects saved in Dropbox in the cloud. That's saved to my what do you call it? So we go to Dropbox, apps, Scrivener here. Okay, in case you're wondering. No, that was a bit fast. Let's go to Dropbox, apps, Scrivener. Okay. This is all the projects that my iPad has access to. And so if I edit or work for my projects in these folders here, no problem. They're all downloaded on my iPad because it's connected to Dropbox. I can open up the same project on my iPad. The main thing you want to remember, just close the project on your Mac or PC before you open it again on your iPad. Typically, Scrivener will just warn you and say, hey, it's open. So you don't want to open it and change anything. Um, so just bear that in mind. But you certainly can do that. It's not a problem at all. Great question, Catherine. That's a good one. Yeah, no problem. Okay, let's see. I'm kind of sift through here and see if I can read some of these other ones. Okay, Ruth's answering that one. Okay, perfect. Glad I was able to answer that, Quevin. Markdown. Does Scrivener have a position on it? So Scrivener does support Markdown. I mean, if it's the type I'm thinking you're talking about, I don't deal much with Markdown, to be honest with you. But just let me show you here. You can compile out here, and we can do multi-Markdown. It's probably different than Markdown. I used to write emails in Markdown, things like that, for an old what do you call it, system. And if you're familiar with Ulysses, it's kind of a similar kind of Markdown style, where you learn a lot of those symbols and things and write things out in styles like I think like a heading was like pound or something and different things like that. Um, yeah, I think you can do that in Scrivener, but it's not. I'm not really familiar with it, so I can't speak to it. If you have more questions about that and how that might work, I'd recommend you email our support directly. We have a guy on our team who's like solid with that stuff, and he could probably help you out. It looks like Ruth is answering that too. Thank you, Ruth. Appreciate that. Okay, so Paul is asking, I noticed there's an option in the first folder, top left, to view the manuscript as a whole rather than separate scenes. Does this need to be configured or should it be an automatic option? My first folder says draft folder. Yes, so the draft folder is typically what you would see. In fact, you can see here in this specific project, I renamed my draft folder the series folder. Okay. And inside the series, I have, in fact, book one. This is what I would select. So if I click the series folder or the draft folder, it's going to give me the entire manuscript, depending on what view I am in. Now, I'm currently in the outliner view. So we have view, outline, we have view corkboard, and we have view scrivenings. Now, scrivenings allows you to see everything from start to finish. In this case, there's about 24,000 words. Yeah, 24,500 words. Okay. From start to finish. And there's no need to set this up, so to speak. It's just automatic. If you select a folder, you're going to see the contents of that folder. Now, in this case, I'm selecting chapter one, Sunlight and New Beginnings. So I'm only going to see that chapter. If I click this chapter here, there we go. See how that works? Just like that. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question there, Higley. That's a good question. If you have any questions more about that, let me know. Let me scroll down here. Catherine's asking if I write on an iPad and then open in Windows, is there a loss of format? There should not be any loss of format when you switch back from Windows to iPad. One thing I will note that I've noticed, like you may not have noticed it here, sometimes between Mac and PC, the font will change here. Like it's changed to Courier here for some reason when I just edited it on my PC. Usually that's because the font the font that you're using on your PC isn't on the Mac, and so it kind of chooses a different font. I'm going to close that out and look at that real quick because I'm curious. I'm going to close down this guy here, go back to the Mac, I mean to the PC. Oh, yeah, I'm even getting them confused. Open our recent project, Whispers in Willowbrook. Yeah, so it's doing Palantino lint type, which is a little bit different, and it should be the same, but for whatever reason, it pulled it off as different. Huh. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I'll have to look into that because I thought maybe I had changed the font here or something. This is the one we were looking at. And oops, see, there we go. That should do it, but we'll exit out and see. Close that out. Let's close this out here. Let's go back to the Mac. Open it up. That might be it. Yeah, there's a little bit of a glitch there with the font here. It switched it over to Courier for some reason on the Mac here. I can easily switch that back though. So watch out for that. We'll have to look into that, see what's causing that. Going all the way back to the top. I do have a lot of font options here. Where is Palantino? Is it gone? No. Do you guys see that? Is it just missing? Oh, there it is, right there. I couldn't find it for some reason. There we go. So, and I just switched that back. It was pretty easy to do. I just select the text, find the font. You just may want to find a font that plays nice between the two platforms. For some reason, Palantino and Palantino type may be slightly different, and so they're it's causing a formatting issue there. But that's something to watch out for. Ruth says, I found that some fonts on my Windows machine use slightly different names for the font that is on macOS versions do, which will cause some odd issues with the font. Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate that. Yeah. So we might have to. I say you find a font that works nice on both versions if you plan to work on both types. Times New Roman is always a pretty safe bet, but just watch out for that. Yeah, thank you, Catherine. Catherine posts it just after I say it. Yeah, Times New Roman. Times Roman. Yep. Perfect. Well, thanks, guys. This has been an excellent presentation. We are officially at time. So thank you so much. If we couldn't get to your question, please send us an email. We're happy to help out where we can. I think you all are amazing, wonderful writers. I hope this will help you get focused, get those distractions out of your way. I know there's plenty of outside distractions. Just open up Scrivener, put on composition mode, and get writing. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming. I will see you all in the new year for January for our next year's events. So I'll let you know. We'll get more details on that in the beginning of January. Thank you so much for coming. Everyone have a wonderful holiday season, and I will catch you all next time. Keep on writing.